Have you ever been in a situation to where you had an electric problem in your house? Whether you're renting, whether you're buying, mortgage, whatever it is. Did you ever have an electric problem? And when you did, you called up the plumber. I highly doubt that. You probably called up an electrician. And there's an important reason for it because the plumber knows what he knows, and he's great with plumbing. And the electrician knows what he knows, and he's great with things with electricity. And I want to talk to you guys today about one of the principles in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, specialized knowledge. Because it's not simply we go throughout life being the average, but we got to be obsessed to the point that we are able to dive deep into the knowledge that we have in a specific thing. Those experts, those masters that we consider as masters, they have mastered themselves in a few areas. Not all areas, because that would take probably thousands and thousands of years, but in a very few areas. And that's where they get the respect. That's where they get the trust. That's where they get the credibility. So I want to share with you a couple things that will help you to have that specialized knowledge and create an actionable plan from it. First off, we got to define like what is specialized knowledge? It's the expertise in a specific field that goes beyond general knowledge. General knowledge can be common sense, but it also can just be the general things that you learn in a business. When I worked at Walmart working in produce, I knew everything about the fruits. I knew everything about the vegetables. Like I knew everything about how to put pallets out and such. And that could transfer to each department. That can transfer to any retail store. But when I got into it even deeper, the specific knowledge, I found out that there's hundreds of types of apples. I found out specifically where things go and where the mods are supposed to go, to where I didn't need the papers to be able to do it. I was able to tell the customers exactly where it went. And even though generally Walmart's, a general store where everyone goes, specifically in that Walmart, I can point customers to where they need to go. And that came from that specialized knowledge, very specific expertise in one field, which for that Walmart when I was working there at the time was the produce and the meat department. That was in that specific field. Now, why is this important? I'm talking about produce, but if you're in finance or business, or you're building a family, if you're just working your job, if you're in construction or a manager job, what the heck does produce have to do with it? And why is it important to get specialized knowledge? I'll tell you this. If you want to stand out today in this competitive world that we live in, specialized knowledge is going to give you a specific advantage. And not just specific advantage, a significant advantage. Significant, not a small one, a massive one. Let me share a few things about why and how you do it. So, understanding the importance of specialized knowledge, it gives you that competitive advantage. It sets you apart from the crowd and the positions so that you can be set as an expert. Like I said, you wouldn't call a plumber to do an electrician's job. You also wouldn't go out to a plumber for IT skills, right? Those medical specialists, I wouldn't want a surgeon to really do my financial stuff. I also wouldn't want a financial advisor to do my medical anything health wise. Like a diabetic professional isn't probably going to know much about the world of food and culture and being a chef. But every single person in that industry, you can name the experts, you can name the masters. The food industry, Gordon Ramsay pops up to my head. For gurus and inspirational speakers, Tony Robbins pops in my head. For financial analysts, Warren Buffett pops in my head. Now, are these guys great in every single field they're in? No. But because they're great in a single field, they are known as the masters in that field. They're known as the experts because they specialize their knowledge to a single thing. And they have more value when it comes to those topics than anyone else. A second thing when it comes to the importance of specialized knowledge is that that's where you get a lot of passion and power from. If you are super interested in being an entrepreneur, then anything business, anything about building a brand, anything about marketing, that's going to excite you. But other things like doing laundry, mowing the lawn, that might not excite you as much as the entrepreneurship side is. And so, whatever your interest is, whatever your passion is, with a when you bring it down and keep it kind of that laser focus, you can go forward with it. If you think about it this way, a light is broad and can light up the room. But a laser is light brought to such a specific point that it can go through almost anything. So you got to ask yourself, are you wanting to be the laser or are you wanting to be the light? Either is good. It just depends on what you want. Here's some strategies. It's important. I talked about how important it is. Here's some strategies I want to share with you. If you are looking to get more specialized in your industry, in your position, to be able to get promoted, to be able to earn more money, to be able to be known as the expert and the master, here's some tips and tricks for you. Number one, reading. As someone who has read over 300 self-help books over the last 4 or 5 years, I have found that reading, especially paperback or hardcover, has significantly increased my knowledge on the things that I want to do. And as someone who suffers from dyslexia, who struggles with writing, speaking, and reading, I read over 60 plus books a year. I go out and give speeches just like this, inspirational speeches to help people guide them to where they want to go. And as well as I'm a best-selling author. Those things didn't come from the general knowledge, because the general knowledge of things says, Willie, you're dyslexic. That's a challenge and obstacle that you're going to have to face your entire life. And there is no advantage to it. And it wasn't until I started reading that I realized that it was not a challenge, but a superpower. And so for you, when it comes to reading, you can dive into books, you can dive into articles, you can go to online resources that are related to your field, and that will help you increase to the for that specific knowledge that you want. Another thing you can do, education. Like, even though there's this trend that college isn't working, that the government's in control and everything, formal education, different courses, different workshops, online programs, they're out there. They're out there. They don't have to be through a specific college, even though, some of my favorite teachers and some of my favorite courses were through a college program that actually helped connect me to people in the entrepreneurship world. That's how I got started. Like, there are those there, but there's also so many different workshops and trainings and programs and modules that you can get out there from people specific in your area: finance, construction, managerial, entrepreneurship, business owner, marketing, advertising, whatever it may be. There's course content creation. There's courses out there that are there for you. And education is important. Now, I'm not dissing on school, but I want you to realize something that was important to me. Education is important, and it's not necessarily needed to be done through school. So if school doesn't work for you, educate yourself another way. If it does, that's great. But focus on the education part, not the specific thing that you need to do to get that education. Because when you focus on the education, opportunities are going to come up that will help guide you to where you need to go. Another thing when it comes to specialized knowledge that you can do is experimental learning. This is also what I love to call, and what many people call, hands-on experience. This is through internships, different projects, or volunteering. Volunteering is such a great thing to do. If you are looking to become more of a master in your field, get the hands-on experience. Some things you can only learn in the field. Other things you might be able to learn in the book, but you learn faster in the field. I remember this study that I read the other day. And they separated into 4 groups. These were basketball players shooting free throw shots. And they wanted to see what was going on and what was the best way to do to improve their free throw shot. So the first group was the controlled group, and they didn't do anything. The second group were just standing at the free throw line, and they were shooting free throw shots. Hours on end shooting free throw shots. The third group didn't shoot any free throw shots, but they would lay on the ground and visualize themselves. This is visualizing themselves, how their arms feel as they pick up the ball, how they feel as they let it go. They feel the wind in their hand as they push it. They can visualize the ball going straight and swishing into the net. Wow, I haven't said swishing in a long time. Swishing right into the net and making the shot. And they would do that for hours during their practice. Then the fourth group, they would shoot free throws half the time, and the other half the time visualize themselves shooting free throws. And when the study came out, I was shocked. I was shocked to realize that the group, that was the control group, that they didn't do anything, didn't improve their free throws at all. Right? Just makes sense. The group that shot their free throws improved about 28% of the time. That didn't sound right. From where they were at to they improved 28%. There we go. That's how I wanted to say it. For the third group who just visualized, from where they're at, they improved 26%. Basically the same amount as the people doing the experience, shooting free throw shots. The ones who visualized were making that exact same improvement. And then when you added the free throws and the visualization, they improved, I believe it was about 36 or 38%. And that just die-hearted me into realizing the importance of visualization, but also the importance of hands-on experience, because you learn as you go. If you want to change your mental state, change your physical state. You learn as you go. Another thing you can do is networking. Start talking with these professionals who are the experts in their field. Do this through events, conferences, online communities, on social media platforms, wherever it is. Start going out and networking to these people. And then the last thing you can try to do, among these are just ideas I've tried out. You can try out several, but the last one I could think is just be a lifetime student. Have continuous learning value and attribute inside yourself, because it's so important to stay updated and adaptable with things. When Uber came out, the taxi drivers who stayed taxi drivers, the industry fell down, and the Uber drivers came up. Hotels were replaced by Airbnbs, right? It's this adaptable, staying updated on the culture, on what people are wanting and needing. And that's how these big companies that we thought there's no way they'd come up and do what they need to do, were able to then create the business and be a popular brand that they are. So if you want to be the expert in popular brand, have that continuous learning side. All this being said, Willie, when it comes down to it, what do we do next? Let's create a personalized action plan. You can do this in a few ways. First, you can do a self-assessment. Just reflect on your interests, your strengths, and the areas for growth. I always say focus on your strengths and not your lesser strengths. You need to work on your lesser strengths because sometimes that can really hold you back, which most people call weaknesses. But you also need to dial down on your strengths, because the dialing down on your strengths is what's going to help get you to where you want to go with being that specialized laser beam of power in your industry. Second thing you can do is you can set goals for yourself. I remember in grade school, there was the SMART goals, that SMART acronym that you can use. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but they had some really good gold nuggets in there. The first thing is specific. If you want generalized knowledge, set generalized goals. If you want specific knowledge, set specific goals. I'm working on my health right now. I'm trying to lose 100 pounds. And me just saying I want to get healthy is not going to get me to the 100 pounds loss. What is? I'm going to walk 10K steps. I'm going to drink a gallon of water. I'm going to do my workout for the day for 30 minutes, right? Very specific things. Where at the end of the day, as you're laying in bed and reviewing it, you can ask yourself, did I do this or not? And it's a yes or a no. That's how specific your goal should be. Measurable is also in there. Specific and measurable, they're interchangeable. You want to make sure it's measurable so that at the end of the day, you can ask, yes, I did this, or no, I didn't do it. So that's super specific so that you can really hook onto that goal and get to where you want to go. The other thing is setting a time limit. This can be a 30-day goal. This can be a 90-day goal. I know that's popular. That's what we do at Champion Circle. That's what I know several other accountability people do, because 90 days, it's just a nice sprint to do. But having a time limit, be able to pressure yourself into getting something done. Some things that we think will take a year might only take 90 days. Things that we might think only take 90 days might just take a month. And things that take a month might just take a week. If I've learned anything when it comes to high achievers and high successful individuals, what they do is they take the time of when they had the thought of what they need to do and the action to take action to get it done. They shorten it. They decrease the gap in between. And so something we're just like, this week, I'm going to do my taxes. The high achiever might come and say, today, I'm going to do my taxes. And then tomorrow, I'm going to connect with 10 people. Then the next day, right? So that at the end of the week, really at the end of the month, the average person will be like, yeah, I got 4 things done. I feel so achieved. When that high achiever is just like, I got 30 things done. Right? Time's finite. But that the high achiever takes the thought and the action and shortens that gap as much as they can. So adding that time bound thing, even if you don't think you can achieve it, just set it and you'll be surprised on what you can achieve. When it comes to setting an action plan, another thing you might want to do is research. Explore all the available resources out there, and then identify the most effective learning methods for you. I know for me, when it comes to focus time, that I need that having just that meditation music in the background is my favorite thing to do. It kicks my dyslexic brain into some level of something to be able to achieve what I just get that focus and achieve what I want. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe you need to take a walk first, or maybe you need to be in a certain chair or a certain room where there's no distractions, right? How do you learn? Maybe it's you got to look at presentations. Maybe you're great with a textbook. Maybe you learn through video, whatever it is. Test them all and figure out what works for you so that we can accelerate you becoming that expert that you want to be. 2 more things I'd say, like I said earlier, time management. Allocate but this time for the daily, right? Allocate dedicated time each day to be able to learn the skill and and really talent's really natural. The skill, hard or soft, that you need to get to where you want to go. There's that famous, I don't know who it's by. That famous thing that says you become a master once you put 10,000 hours in. Well, the 10,000 hours starts by putting 1 hour in. So you just got to start putting in the hours, because 5 years is going to come whether you do it or not. So you might as well in 5 years have that skill rather than like, oh, I'm going to schedule the perfect time to do it and not have anything done. Then the last thing, accountability. Establish accountability with people that you know and trust. Keep progress records of how you're doing. And, study groups is a good way too, but really create a group of friends and trusted individuals that will keep you accountable. For some reason, maybe it's just me, I will do something more for someone else than I will for myself, which is sad, but it's the hard reality of it because I love to help other people out. I love to see the light in their eyes. And so when I think that what I'm doing is going to help someone else, that helps me be accountable for what I need to do. So for you, go out and find someone to help you be accountable. As we wrap this up, specialized knowledge is just such a game changer. It's how you become successful in your field. It's how you become the top 10, the top 5, the top dog, the top one in your industry. And so I want to leave you this challenge. The challenge is I encourage you, as the audience who's listening, to take immediate action towards acquiring specialized knowledge. Take immediate action. We went through several examples today, from research, from the different ways to learn, to setting smart goals, with not really smart goals, right? But setting specific, measurable, and time-bound goals. We talked about going out and connecting with people, or just simply learning the skill, getting that hands-on experience. Whatever it is, the challenge is for you right now to think of what you need to do immediately today that will help push you and start getting you toward that desired result that you have. It just takes a little bit of dedication and a little bit of focus. You can habit stack, you can put it in your calendar, whatever it is, but set time aside to achieve that goal that you want. And you do that through the dedication, you do that through focus, and you do it through that desire to go forward. And go forward by taking those first steps.